Hey guys, in this video I want to talk to you about adding an infrared heater to your screen porch or patio. You know, when the weather gets cold, when winter comes, folks who have been living outside all year round, whether it's on your screen porch or patio, we move indoors, right? I've designed my personal screen porch so that I could swap out the screens for these Mylar wind panels because they're lightweight. And while this helps cut the wind, it's still cold out there. The only true way to be able to enjoy a porch year-round is to add heat. So you gotta ask the question, the million-dollar question, what type of heat and how do you do it safely, especially in a porch with a roof and all that? So for screen porches, I highly suggest an infrared heater, which is gonna transfer heat to objects and people rather than heating the air. They work with these heated quartz elements and they emit rays that are actually absorbed by items, evenly distributing the heat to the surrounding. Now, infrared heaters have three things going for them. First of all, they are an efficient way to heat. While traditional heaters are rendered ineffective by, say, drafty conditions and wind and stuff like that, infrared heaters emit radiant energy that won't be blown away by the wind. They heat the objects in which they're pointed at. Now, this direct heat transfer is fundamentally different than other heating methods. And that's why infrared heaters are a feasible option for like an open air setting, like a screen porch or patio. We see them in restaurants. You're not trying to heat the air, you're trying to heat the actual seating area and objects instead. For this reason, infrared is one of the most effective ways to heat a screened porch or a porch, patio, you know, pool area or something like that. Okay, the second reason is no emissions. And unlike, say, a gas heater or in fireplaces and stuff like that, infrared heaters don't emit carbon monoxide. The third reason is that it's cost effective. Infrared heaters convert 93% of their energy into heat, making it not only cost effective, but energy efficient. So before installing an infrared heating system on, say, your screen porch, there's a few factors you need to consider. First of all, sizing it. You gotta size your heaters. If your screened-in porch is relatively small, a single element heater might be all you need. But if the space is larger, you might want to consider installing a larger dual element or maybe more than one heater. Now, I decided to use Infratech brand heaters, and I did that based on their reputation for safety features, aesthetics, and the fact that they're made right here in the United States, in Southern California. Now, their heaters, they use infrared heat, and they do it in the form of a shortwave or medium wave radiation, right? Heat radiation. An Infratech heater uses an element like it's a quartz tube, which is very different than gas heater, which uses an open flame, so it's safer. And because you don't have to worry about that open flame or, you know, the infrared heater just requires less clearance around it so that I could mount it, you know, on my wall with a roof above it. That's going to allow you to place your heater in tighter quarters and maybe even mounting it flush in a ceiling, which can reduce visible impact. This makes the Infratech heater, I think, more attractive for indoor use for screen porches. You don't have to worry about, you know, trapping carbon monoxide or anything else or the surroundings. Now, Infratech heating elements are rated for 5,000 hours of continuous use. I like their finish options on the heaters. All the heaters are powder coated over stainless steel, baked on to achieve long-lasting, fade-resistant, corrosion-resistant finishes. They offer multiple colors, custom colors, and even different grill styles. Now, for my installation on the screen porch, I installed two heaters side by side. I had my electrician install a 30 amp circuit breaker, dedicated wire for each heater. They do draw some juice. The screen porch is a 14 by 14 cathedral ceilinged porch, right? So I wanted to slightly oversize my heaters. So using the rule of thumb of one heater for a 10 by 10 area, we chose to install two so that we could cover that 14-foot swath. Now, both heaters face outward and they're controlled by a high-low duplex switch. And that allows me to individually operate one or both heaters at the same time, either on half heat or high, so low or high, in a combination. Depending on the budget, there are lots of options where you can control your heaters from the duplex switch like I have, to custom controls, which can cost up to thousands of dollars. You know, you can home systems and dimmer switches and timers, and some of those home management systems like Lutron and Creston and Control 4, you know, it can get pricey. Now there are 3 rules of thumb when you're thinking about sizing and doing these heaters. A single heater is typically going to heat a 10 by 10 foot radius. Install your heaters above and around the seating areas where people will be seated. And then also consider people's personal expectations, your expectations of exposure. When do you want it more warm than normal? And if you're in doubt, go higher with higher heater element wattages or dual elements and stuff like that. Or increase the number of heaters. You can always dial it down with a controller. Now, when you're mounting these heaters, there's some clearances you need to know about. Infratech heaters, they need to have that quartz tube horizontally level. So it needs to be level, whether it's on the wall and the ceiling. It's important to maintain clearances around the heater as well. Some of the clearances are, it needs a minimum of 18-inch clearance on all sides, a minimum of 36-inch clearances directly in front of it. Can't have any plants or things hanging in front of it, and 72 inches up from the floor. And then if you use the wall mounting brackets, you can stay 6 inches off the wall. Now, when considering mounting options, Infratech offers 4 different choices. You can do flush in the ceiling, which is a really cool look and most popular. You can do the wall mount, which is what I did. They have pole mounts, 8-foot poles with a 12 by 12 heavy base, like out by a pool or patio. And then the ceiling mounted brackets could be done as well. So when wall mounting like I did, it's recommended that you angle the fixture 30 to 60 degrees from that horizontal face down, with 45 degrees being the best angle. That's what we did. It's also recommended to install the heater to heat from the cold side if possible. I didn't do that, but I didn't have a choice. So the cost of installing a system, right? What does it cost? Well, for this screen-in porch, it's going to be somewhere around $1,000 to $1,600 per heater. That's including all the labor, carpentry work, electrical work, painting, everything. The overall cost can be affected, whether you need to upgrade your circuitry or wall repair and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. A typical cost to run a typical heater at, let's say, 4,000 watts is going to cost, and this is according to a national average, 60 cents an hour at 93% efficiency. That's in comparison to $2 an hour for propane and 45 cents for gas an hour. But gas is only 60% efficient. You lose that because of the air and the wind. So the next question is, how much heat did we get when we installed this? So with both heaters on low, we achieved super warm area on a 45-degree day. Now on high it was too much, but I'm hoping that on colder days, high will just make it just right. So we haven't tested it on 0-degree days yet, but on a 45-degree day, it was very warm. Overall, I was impressed with the heaters. When choosing an Infratech heater, remember, they're an efficient way to heat, long-term, cost-effective. They're silent. They provide, like I said, efficient heating. They're odorless. They don't require propane or gas hookups, no flames, low maintenance, and easy to operate. Switch it on, switch it off. It's funny, but staying home during COVID pandemic has showed us that space in our homes is a premium, and extending that outdoor living space longer from the fall into the winter, or maybe all the way through the winter, it's looking better than ever now with a heater like this. We've seen restaurants build out their outdoor dining, many of them using infrared heaters, and that's what got us thinking of doing it in a residential project like this. Lots of people are doing it, and I'm glad we did too. I'm Rob Robillard. We'll see you next time. Take care.